Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right. Greetings. Welcome to the New World Sounds Show. I'm your host, Mike the Millionaire. And now we're having part two of former Capitol Records recording artist Blase Michael Lizzmore and the Jackie Wilson Project. All right. And we had a very good build and discussion over the weekend, last weekend. And we are going to pride ourselves with spearheading what will, from this point on in 2025, will be Jackie Wilson Week, the week of his birthday, Earth Day. Okay. And so instead of just having one day of honoring Jackie Wilson, we're going to have a whole Jackie Wilson week and let that progress on to Jackie Wilson month. Okay. So we're spearheading that now. All right. And so there's no need to reintroduce all of the information from last week. We can just continue with the dialogue for those who want to get caught up to speed. Just go back into the channel and look at the part one of this and you'll get caught up to speed. Okay, but we're going to progress. And right about now, I'm going to bring in the former Capitol Records artist, Blase, Michael Lizzmore, Pops. Hey, hey, hey.
All right. Great introduction.
All right,
I
thanks.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, you're quite welcome, quite welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, you are the man of the hour.
Thank you.
And so, last week we were talking about this Jackie Wilson project, which is both a song and a documentary. So tonight we'll be playing a teaser of the raw, unedited footage from that documentary just to give y'all a little taste and teaser. And so, Dad, now with the song, let's talk about the song.
Okay.
Now, I know that when you wrote that song and recorded that song, I know there is a whole concept behind it and a whole vision that you had for that song. For the viewers, talk about that concept.
Okay, sure. Um, when Jackie Wilson, my friend, had the misfortune of collapsing on stage of the Cherry Hill Latin Casino in New Jersey. That was in 1975. Okay, so I went over there to check on him and everything, and because when I first met Jackie, I was a young boy, and we fell in love with each other, um, um, and we signed a silent contract with each other without any verbalization or anything like that. We just knew that we had that close relationship, and it just carried on throughout my adult life. I always felt a kinship with him, and I always felt that I owed him a debt of gratitude because he gave me so much. I learned so much from Jackie, not only vocally, but just the way that he carried himself. He was just majestic. The man was every move he made was an event. Even if he just walked across the room, it was an event. It was something totally different. He had a song one time, and a couple of the lyrics in it went like, a love that makes me wear a wide grin, a love that makes me different from all other men. And that was true. This guy was different, man. He, oh man, when he would walk into a room, women would just go absolutely ballistic. Charming, charismatic. And so when I went to see him in that condition that he was in the hospital and in the Medford Lee's Rehabilitation Center, as I sat across from him, looking at this giant of a man in the condition that he was in, it just broke my heart. And right then, I just started to write in my head. I knew that I had to do something to let the world know his condition and what I was trying to do to get that word out, and an impassioned plea on my part to let everybody know what I was feeling. And I'm sure a lot of his fans and people and family, people who love him, was feeling the same thing. It's like a hopeless feeling, but I thought that there was still hope. And so I sang to him, because when I was a young man, he stopped a show to dedicate a song to me. I mean, he just stopped the show and he, called out my name and said, I know you're out there, and this is for you and all your friends. And I had told all of my friends earlier, my classmates and everybody, that I had been on the phone with Jackie all day. He was staying at the, I think it was the Zanzibar Motel.
Did they believe you?
No, they did not.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, right.
Yeah, because it's like you're this kid.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and you're still in high school.
Right.
You know, and this is a grown ass man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not only
That's
that,
right.
but he's a legendary figure.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
Oh yeah.
I can imagine your classmates were like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And even like about a couple of years ago, I had a guy who
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that. I was leading into that. Yeah,
okay.
because I already know who you're talking about too. I was just about to, because some people will say, well, you know, you say you were friends with Jackie Wilson,
Right.
you know, but Jackie Wilson is like almost old enough to be your father.
Right, right,
You
exactly.
know, how were
That's
you
right.
friends with Jackie Wilson?
That's right.
Did I hit it on the head as far as
You did.
who we're talking about?
Yes, indeed.
So talk about that.
So actually Jackie was about 16 years older than me.
Yeah, almost old enough to pretty much technically old enough to be your father.
Absolutely. And this particular person, I won't call any names, but he was asking me, he was saying, so this age difference, he said, and you're telling me that you were his friend? And I said, yeah, but he pushed the envelope, and he texted me or hit me some kind of way, uh, maybe Facebook Messenger or something. But he said, um, delusion is a hell of a thing. You don't know no damn Jackie Wilson, you know. But what he did was he didn't let me get my get back. After he said that, he blocked me, and I was fuming, you know, because
Wow.
I couldn't do my get back, you know. But yeah, and then so
It's kind of hating a little bit.
it is today. They will call that they will call what I was saying clout chasing. You see, when I was saying you know,
Mm-hmm.
my relationship with Jackie, they would say today clout chasing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so he stopped that show, and he dedicated that song to me, and the title of the song was "No Pity in the Naked City,"
Mm.
and that was like a fatherly type advice, you know, a wise person with knowing the ways of the world and the travails and the pitfalls and you know all of these things. It was like a warning shot. In other words, he was saying, listen to this song very carefully, because "No Pity in the Naked City" is a song that denotes how cold people can be,
Mm-hmm.
and they will treat you, you know, they'll wreck you, you know. So he
Mm-hmm.
was letting me know, have no illusions or delusions about this business that you want to get into.
Right.
And, you know, one of the lyrics says, you go walking down Broadway, watching people catch the subway. Take it from me, don't ask for a helping hand,
Mm.
because no one will understand. And that stuck with me, you know. I don't take anything for granted. I'm aware of the pitfalls and the thievery and the conniving ways of this industry. You know, it can be a door to paradise, or it can be a trap door that will lead you down into the deepest black hole that you could never even imagine. And so I wrote this song. I recorded it. My arranger, when I was with Capitol Records, was the great, legendary Mr. Horace Ott.
Mm-hmm.
he has worked with everybody: Jackie Wilson, Sam Cooke, Dizzy Gillespie, Nina Simone, Houston Person, the list, Aretha Franklin, Dee Dee Warwick. I'd be here all night. Gil Scott Heron,
Yep.
and you know some people.
Hmm.
Look on those credits.
Quite a few.
Oh yeah.
Quite a few. I mean, as I had a large record collection, and I looked at a lot of those albums, and a common name that I would see on all those albums was Horace Ott.
As a matter of fact, you're the one who, because I never used to really pay a whole lot of attention to the credits on the back of albums and things like that. And
Mhm.
you were actually the one who got me into checking those credits out, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because when I heard, I used to love that Gil Scott Heron thing. Uh, this can't be real. I
This
think that was
can't be
the title
real.
of it, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
oh, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
This must be real. Can't
Yeah.
be real.
This can't be
Yeah, right.
real. Yeah.
Love that song, man.
Me
And you
too.
told me, said, man, you know who arranged that? I said, who? Horace. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man. I said, wow, Horace produced that. That's a bad song, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a
And
bad song.
he also worked with Stylistics on an album called Once Upon a Jukebox. Little Anthony and the Imperials,
Mm,
Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr.
mm, mm,
And just, man, he just worked with everybody.
mhm,
And he wrote for Jackie. Okay. So
mm,
when I took to him my idea of how I wanted the song to go, and he sat there and he listened, and I did some little humming, and I want this, I want that, and I'm gonna do this, and and he sat and listened. And being that he was a friend of Jackie's and already knew Jackie and all of his nuances, he said, I think I got it. And then
mm.
he went and arranged it, and then he let me hear it. And I said, oh man, you gotta be kidding, He had it down like that, man. He just, I
Mm,
said, that's what I wanted.
mhm,
And when we got in the studio, I had my brother Tony with me, and some of the Jackie Wilson people were there too, the musicians, and they were so happy, man. They were on cloud nine, uh,
mm.
and when I went in the vocal booth, they were saying, "Say, man," the drummer said, "Man, when I closed my eyes, it just took me back to when we worked with Jackie."
Mhm.
And so when I hit those notes, certain notes, the chorus, it's three young ladies. When I hit those notes, I was hitting them so hard until they snatched off their headsets, and they said I was about to burst their eardrums. And so Horace said, when you hit those notes, man, you got to back up off that mic
Right.
about 3 or 4 feet.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. And it was a beautiful session. And, the lyrics, they hit home, and it was a supernatural thing. And so, you know, um, that is something between me and Jackie. That.
Now, yeah, that's something that I wanted to touch on
Mm-hmm.
because I know that there's been you've been approached to have the song presented to various recording artists. I
Mm-hmm.
know it was asked if you would let someone that is established in the industry like Beyonce, or some of those people that are like mega stars
Mm-hmm.
cover that song,
Right.
um, and you they not so much cover the song, but let them sing the song,
Mm-hmm.
and you get paid for writing the song and this, that, and the other. And I know that's been presented to you
Mm-hmm.
on more than one occasion.
Right.
Would you consider doing that, or is that song something that is personal?
I absolutely would not do that. Um, from a business standpoint, I can understand, somebody's making that suggestion. It makes sense to present the song to a name recognition person out there. Let's say an usher or whoever is the flavor of the day, right?
Hmm.
It would make sense. It would probably garner more attention, and they got that name recognition. So I would. It's with me. It's not about the money. Everybody needs money, but with me, that song is personal. I did that song. I wrote that song. That song is a supernatural song. It's almost like Jackie jumped inside of me and guided me in creating the song.
Mm.
And so I would never compromise that for any amount of money. Now, somewhere down the line, after I do my thing with it, maybe I can collaborate with someone and we do something different, not different, but um,
A
modify,
remix.
yeah, remix, modify some things, because it's a nostalgic song. So I've heard people say, bring it up to date. Well, see, that would be counterproductive to what I was doing. Why would I bring a song that's nostalgic up to date? That would make no sense. You see, it has to be what it was when I did it. You know,
Right, right,
it's from that era, so it would have
right,
to
right.
stay in that era in order to have the impact and to send the message that I'm trying to send.
So, in other words, you have here an unreleased song that was sitting on the shelf during the time when Jackie was hospital ridden, and this was your tribute to him
Yes,
during that time frame. So, in other words, this particular song is time stamped.
it's time stamped. Absolutely. That's exactly right. I mean, I did it, like I said, when Jackie collapsed on stage. That was in 1975. Okay. I recorded the song um, 1 year later. I mean, in other words, 75 segued into 76, but it wasn't a whole year that went by.
Mhm.
And that song was sitting on the shelf for all those years. And after I was no longer with Capitol Records, I didn't have an outlet as far as monetarily. I could not do anything with this song, as far as promoting it. And I was very reluctant to let too many people in the industry hear it because people have a way of stealing your stuff, co-opting your stuff. Next thing you look around, there's your song. It's been adjusted or played with or tampered with, and somebody else that have the credits, the publishing, everything. So that was one of my reasons for just I didn't know what to do, so I just put it on the shelf. And now it's way past due to release it. And Jackie turned 91 years old on June 9th.
Mm-hmm.
91 years old. And so I can't wait around, forever to release this song. And I want everybody who loved Jackie Wilson to hear the song, to appreciate where I was coming from with it. I want them to hear my pleas for him to get up out of that bed and let's go. Let's do it again,
Mm-hmm.
And that's my aim. Now, whatever happens down the line with this song, because I have some visions, of some things I want to do with the song. The instrumental part of it is definitely a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm not going to say too much about it. That's for the listener to determine,
Right.
what they like about it. To feel what I was feeling and to experience what I was feeling. So we would have to go back in time, like Jackie had a song called Beautiful Day.
Right.
And he's like, come take an imaginary trip with me right now
Mhm.
and let's visit a place we haven't been before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the listener would have to do. Go back with me in time and let's visit that place where I was and where Jackie was at that time. And then you will understand my pleas for him to get up, and everybody's praying for you, get up, get up. And so we'd have to go back in time for you to appreciate that song.
So for you, it's not about the money.
No.
It's not you you are a sincere friend of Jackie Wilson, and it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wrote that song as a personal, we can call it an anthem. It was just from me to Jackie. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was singing to him.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I was singing to him. So why would I allow some other person to sing what my heart wrote? That makes no sense.
Right. Right.
Just for money. No, I won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It takes away the whole meaning and purpose of the song, and
Exactly.
like you say, the concept
Mm-hmm.
behind the song.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's my creation. That came from my heart. It came from a place that's real, real, real deep. Somewhere that song came about. And I hope that the listeners can hear my impassioned pleas. Okay? I hope that they can understand where I was coming from with that song, because Jackie's condition really bothered me. And that was my contribution to him. I wanted the song to go out when I did it. But at the same time, there were a lot of crooked people around, and with ears wide open, and with they had the wherewithal to exploit me and exploit that song. So I was
Mhm.
very cautious about that, very, very cautious about just letting any and everybody hear that song, because these record labels and all these executives and crooked people, they have a way of being able to co-opt and steal your stuff and claim it as their own. So, they have recording devices, under the desk or whatever. So, no, I played it safe. Better late than never.
Better late than never. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna play a clip, a teaser, and a taste of the interview
Okay.
from the documentary of the whole Jackie Wilson project, and then we'll come back and continue with the discussion.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
so let's see here. Just hold tight, and you could talk in the meantime while I hook that up.
Take a sip of coffee. I'm a coffee man. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I used to smoke like a chimney,
Oh yeah.
but about 4 years ago, after smoking my whole life almost, I quit cold turkey. Cold turkey. So people would say, "You got to do that gradually," but I'm not that type. I'm gonna either do it or I'm not. See, because if you say, "Okay, I'm gonna
No, you
just
can't remember ever no detail.
one," then
So
that doesn't work.
we'll
He is.
Are you able to hear that?
I can hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna mute our mics.
So, without further ado, here
You
is
hear that?
Blase Michael Lizzmore.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for that fantastic, dynamic introduction, son. I really appreciate that. And it's a pleasure to be here. Everybody, welcome to my humble abode. Thank you for being here. And the reason that I'm here is I'll tell you a little short story. I first met Jackie Wilson when I was I met him on the phone first. I was roughly 11 years old. I was reading Jet magazine. That was our social media back then. And I saw that he was going to be appearing at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Now, the reason for my fascination with Jackie Wilson is this. I had heard people like Ray Charles, Johnny Mathis, Nancy Wilson, Sam Cooke, so many different people. But when I heard Jackie Wilson, that voice, as Barry Gordy once said, he just jumped into me and that was it. It was over. And I fell in love with his voice. I fell in love with his charisma and so many other attributes that he had. So, moving forward, I called the Apollo Theater and I back then you could call someone what was called a collect call. That meant that if they accepted the call, they would pay for the call. A lot of young people won't really understand what I'm talking about. But those of you who are from that era, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And so the first time that I called, somebody said, you have a collect call from a kid named Michael Lizzmore. And I heard him in the background. This was backstage of the Apollo Theater. He said, Michael who? And he didn't accept the call. Okay, I said, okay. So back then, I knew that they would be at the Apollo for a whole week doing show after show. So I waited a couple of days, and I said, let me try that again. And I tried it again, and it was August Sims, his personal assistant, that told him, he said, listen, he says, that same kid called him back again. And this time, Jackie accepted the call. And when he accepted, he said, hello. I said, hey, Jackie Wilson? And he must have heard my wee voice. And he said, who's this? I said, this is your biggest fan. And he said, oh, really? And he said, how old are you? I think it was 11. I said 11. And he said, oh, that's interesting. And he told the people in the background, what was happening. And I could hear them in the background saying, what, really? And I think that he was just as fascinated with me as I was with him. A young kid tracking him down like that and seeking him out. And he asked, where are you calling from? I said, I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida. And I said, when are you going to be in Jacksonville? He said, what is our itinerary going forward? And he gave me the itinerary, like a long time ahead. And I said, okay. I said, when you come, I'm going to be there. And he said, really? He said, will your mother let you? And I said, well, I will have to come with my sister, Joanne. And he said, okay. He said, I'm going to see you there. And to make a long story short, that all came to fruition. I met him. I was at the Coliseum, and I was trying to get backstage, and the MC, legendary MC, Gorgeous George, he was standing over to the side, and he walked over to me and he said, hey, little cuz, he said, you want to go see Jackie Wilson? And I looked up at him, and I'm like, how would he know? And I think he knew who I was. And anyway, he grabbed me and took me straight to Jackie's room, dressing room, and closed the door, and he went back out and locked me in with Jackie. So all these ladies were trying to tear the door down to get in, and he would not let anybody in. It was just me and him in there. And he was in the mirror primping. He had like a powder sponge. We used to use those back in the day when, to get the gleam off your face. And he was doing like this, and he wouldn't look at me. But then I was over like in a corner almost, close proximity. And then I could see him, like he would peep up into the mirror and check me, but not saying a word. Then all of a sudden, he turned dramatically and faced me. And he looked, Mike, I said, yeah. And I was a little nervous and everything. And from that moment on, we just became close and tight. And, he gave me all the information, how to contact him. And Sims, August Sims, they call him Augie. He gave me his card and told me he was the liaison, told me how to reach Jackie and whatever. And so from there, we just formed a bond. And an unbreakable bond. And so I'm saying all that to say this. I went on to move to New York from Jacksonville, Florida, and on my way to the airport, when I was getting ready to go and get my flight to New York, Joe Tex came towards me, he and Sam and Dave. And I was wearing some alligator shoes, and he was wearing alligator shoes. And we both looked down at each other's shoes and gave each other a compliment on the shoes. And we had a big laugh. And he said, "Where you going, man?" I said, "I'm going to New York." And I told him my dreams and told him about Jackie and everything. And he said, "That's beautiful." He said, "Man, I wish you the best of luck." He said, "I'll give you one little piece of advice." He said, "Don't take nothing for granted, and stay alert and just shoot your best shot." And that stayed with me forever. And so I won the Apollo show 4 weeks in a row, and I went on from there to record for Capitol Records. And let's see, what else am I trying to remember? Okay, so back to the reason for this interview. So after Jackie was...
Repeat that again. Back to the reason.
Okay, so back to the reason for this interview now. The whole purpose is that when Jackie collapsed on stage back in 1975, I went over to Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and then to see him in the hospital, then went to see him in Medford Lee's Rehabilitation Center. And he was incapacitated, but he knew I was there. And the way that he would respond to me would be his knee would jump. He would have, well, I guess you would call it a knee-jerk reaction to my voice. And so I recorded the song entitled Jackie Wilson, the master of rock and roll. I wrote it, I sang it, I recorded it, and when he heard it, I was not there when he heard it, but someone else was there and they played it for him, and they say that he responded to it. It was amazing the way that he responded to it. And so after that, the record stayed on the shelf for all this time. I recorded it in 1976. So as you can imagine, that's a long time. So the song is about someone who really admires someone and giving that person hope and inspiration to get up out of that bed and, come out of that situation that he was in, that incapacitation that he was in. And it asked everybody to, let's pray for Jackie, telling him get up and let's do it again and everything. So now I will be releasing this song for your enjoyment and consumption, and we will go back in time so that you will understand what I was feeling as I sang this song, and hopefully you will love the song and you will be able to buy the song, because I'm going to be releasing it in or around his birthday, which is June 9th. We'll be more specific at a later date. But also the location will be announced at a later date. And so...
I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Now, are you able to hit those operatic notes that Jackie Wilson so skillfully was able to do?
You mean notes like, Like that?
Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's a big inspiration.
Oh, my greatest inspiration. I call him the quintessential vocal gunslinger, second to none.
What about people like Sam Cooke, James Brown, people like that who are looked upon by the great majority of people who don't know as being like the GOATs?
Okay, so all of those people you just named, they are goats, or they were goats. But Jackie Wilson was the mountain goat. He was up on the mountain and looking down at the other goats. But he was the baddest of the bad. Ask Michael Jackson. I mean, well, you can't ask him, but he said it before he passed away. Everybody took notes from the quintessential goat, Jackie Wilson. People like CeeLo Green, Jeffrey Osborne, Eddie Holman, Sam Cooke, Frank Sinatra, Tom Jones, Elvis Presley. The list goes on and on. Like I said, everybody, including me, yours truly, took notes from the quintessential goat. Everybody. Gerald Levert, another one. The list just goes on and on. Al Green. Al Green said, "That's where I got most of my stability from, Mr. Jackie Wilson." Jackie inspired all of us. Every one of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, this project is to immortalize his name?
Absolutely. I have written so many tributes to Jackie on my Facebook page. I never fail to pay homage to this man because he did so much for me and inspired me, and I will never stop paying tribute to him. So it is to immortalize him, keep his name alive, and I'm just going to keep it going. He has a son that he never knew. Well, he knew, but the son didn't know that Jackie Wilson was his father. And his name is Bobby Wilson, my little brother. And that's what the docu-movie is all about. The Last Teardrop. You should check it out. It's streaming now on Tubi and Amazon Prime. So you can see me in it. You can see Bobby do his thing. And it's really fascinating. We're all trying to keep Jackie's name alive. And you got some younger people, the young generation. You have Chester Gregory Jr. He played the Jackie Wilson story, the live play at the Apollo and all across the country. Then you've got another young man, Grady Harrell, that does a fantastic job of Jackie. Okay, so many people have, paid homage to Jackie. Howard Huntsberry of the group Click, he did it. And it just goes on and on. El DeBarge did a cover of Lonely Teardrops, and so many other people. Just goes on and on. The man is the story still pending. There's no ending. That's what I always tell people. Every time you think the book is going to close, there's another chapter that just pops up out of nowhere. I was also out in Hollywood in 2019 to eyewitness Jackie Wilson finally get his star on the Walk of Fame. and it was fantastic. You can go on and Google it. Um, so many people were there. Barry Gordy, Smokey Robinson, his ex-wife Claudette, Mary Wilson from the Supremes, what's his name? Leon Isaac Kennedy was there. Jeffrey Perry, who wrote the album "Beautiful Day" for Jackie. So many people were out there that day. Jackie's grandson, Reginald Motsy Abrams, who is a rapper and a legend in his own right, of a group called Detroit's Most Wanted. He was there. The whole family was there. Sabrina Wilson, Brenda Wilson, so many people were there. And it was just beautiful. Everybody gathered and showed their respects to Jackie. A lot of people were not there who I think should have been there. But, you know, that's what happens. Jackie helped launch a lot of people's careers. Okay? What's the guy? Ray Parker Jr. came out.
Okay. Let's see. 1 second.
So I meant to mention that you have a cameo appearance, a couple of cameo appearances in the docu-movie Last Teardrop too. Got to mention.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful documentary.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. I suggest everybody go out and see it. It's on Tubi, and it's also on Netflix, I believe.
I think it's coming to Netflix. I think it might be on Apple TV now.
Okay.
It's moving. It's gaining a lot of momentum, and
Yeah.
we premiered it all across the country.
Oh yeah.
Out in Hollywood, Las Vegas.
Sold out theaters.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Paul Griffin was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Of Eddie Griffin
Yep.
in there, and we traveled all over the country premiering that thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The last screening was in Harlem at the Magic Johnson Theater. That was last year, and there was not even standing room only in there. Not even anywhere for people to stand. That's how they came out. I mean, they came out there, man.
They sure did.
Oh yeah,
And that was the same night that the Bob Marley movie.
exactly.
And it sold more tickets than even the Bob Marley movie.
Yes, it did. We had I
Standing
ran.
room only.
That's right. I ran the Blade Barkley. He came out there.
Yeah, the box.
Al Ice Cold, another boxer from Florida. Man, we just had so many people. G. Keith Alexander.
Steve was there.
Yeah, Stephen Nicholas, George Kerr, the great George Kerr, who has produced and written for everybody, mainly Linda Jones of Hypnotized fame. He put her on the map. So many people, man. Who else was there? Mike Boone, the Chancellor of Soul. You should check him out for sure. Mike is a surgeon when it comes to dissecting and putting back together the icons of soul music. He can tell you everything about them, you know, their history, you know, their pathology, everything. Mike knows how to do it. And it just goes on and on. There were so many people out there, you know. Vi Higginson, and hey, don't let me forget that Billy Mitchell, our friend Billy Mitchell, Mr. Apollo himself, he hosted the red carpet event in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did a fantastic job. I wouldn't expect any less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. He did.
man, it was so beautiful.
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh man, it was.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
It really was. So what I'm gonna do now is share the screen. One second. You could keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I can share.
Yeah. So we want to. You did mention that it's Jackie Wilson week, and you did touch upon um, that we are declaring the entire month of June and designating it as Jackie Wilson month because you cannot compress a legend like Jackie Wilson's career and contributions into one day. It's like saying Black History Month. How can you do that? It's ridiculous. You cannot compress Black History Month into 28 days. Impossible. So same with Jackie Wilson. No way you can um, relegate him to one day. I'm not going to allow it to happen. So I would say everybody who loved Jackie Wilson, keep posting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
keep.
actually, I feel that on that note, actually, we are gonna do a part three,
Okay, okay.
and I feel that they've got enough flavor
Mm-hmm.
to hold them, and it's a good cliffhanger
Oh
for
my
the
goodness.
show.
You took that word right off. I mean, you literally took that word right off the tip of my tongue. That cliffhanger. I was just about to say it, man. It's like those series that you can't stop looking at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Oh
Wow.
yeah, for
Beautiful.
sure. So we'll come back and do a part three, and yeah, so it was really a good show.
Beautiful, man. I tell you,
And,
you're a great host too.
oh, thank
You're a
you.
great host.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I appreciate you for having me. And
it was a pleasure having you on.
thank you. And you love Jackie.
Oh
You
yeah,
couldn't,
for
you
sure.
couldn't help it because
Couldn't help it.
growing up.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Couldn't help it. You couldn't
There was
get
no
away from it. No
escape.
escape. And it would be no reason to escape.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
no, no
Escape from
reason, no
what?
reason to want to
To
escape.
want to escape. Escape from what? Are you
Exactly.
kidding?
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody in my household loved Jackie Wilson. My mom, all my
yep.
siblings,
Hmm.
they just love Jackie, man. All
Oh
the
yeah.
neighbors, everybody, anybody who I came in contact with or didn't come in contact with, they love Jackie. But when they met me, I just reinforced it. I always, as they say, big Jackie up. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. So we'll close out the show now, and yeah, it
It's
was a blast.
been lit.
Oh yeah, it's been lit for sure.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure. Well, I thank you for joining us again.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah. And until the next time, we'll say peace.
Oh, yeah.
All
Peace
right.
and love. One
Peace
love.
and love. Yeah. So I'll put you back.
Absolutely.
I'll put you backstage and
Okay, Jackie Wilson forever.
Jackie Wilson forever. That's it.
Yeah. Yes,
That's it.
indeed.
Oh yeah.
He's immortal.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Sure. And yeah, so I'll put you backstage now and close out the show.
Okay. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. All right, folks. So, man, I tell you, it's something when you're having fun, you know, but there's always the next time. Creators willing. Okay. So I'm gonna close out the show now. And I'm gonna say until the next time, peace and love.